So what's up, guys? It's not news that the C8 Corvette will be coming out before too much longer, and that it is boasting some pretty big changes from the pretty much every version of the Corvette so far. And whereas I love Corvettes and always have, and I am ever a big proponent of innovation and technological advancement, I'm a little bit worried, and I just wanted to share this with you guys and see what you think as far as what this means for the brand. From everything that I've seen as far as spy photos and leaked information and this, that, and the other, it looks like, first of all, I think we're pretty sure at this point that the C8 Corvette's going to be mid-engine rear-wheel drive, but also it may potentially have a slew of additional upgrades that have been uncommon in Corvettes, including possibly a twin turbo option, possibly a hybrid version, front lift system, active aero. They're also talking about upping the base price by at least $10,000. And this made me question this a bit, and I'll tell you the reason why. I think the reason we've always loved the Corvette, or at least the reason I've always loved the Corvette, is that it competes so well with expensive sports cars without being an expensive sports car. See, the thing is, if you remember, for years, the Vette and the Viper were sort of arch enemies, and the Viper cost $30,000, $40,000 more than the Vette. So every time they would run similar track times at track tests and stuff, the win immediately goes to the Corvette because you're not spending as much money. And that's always, I think, been the appeal to the Corvette versus a lot of other very high-end sports cars, is the fact that it's attainable and it's affordable. I mean, it used to be that for $45,000 to $50,000 or so, you could get a car that was very track capable and that you could spend not a lot of money on and go out and enjoy and run with cars that were a lot more expensive. But with the onset of this new mid-engine setup, it almost appears that General Motors is on their way to try to compete with Ferrari and some of these higher end super and hyper cars. And this is not an easy crowd to impress. And if you're gonna try to get into that brand, into that market, you've got to come willing to do so. I mean, the people who buy these cars demand really high quality standards that, let's face it, past Vettes have not exactly delivered on, which was fine because they weren't expensive as far as sports cars go anyway. So if you buy a C5 and then find out it has a radio from a Cavalier in it, there's a little bit of understanding there. But if you are selling this in the same bracket as Ferraris and Lamborghinis, that's not gonna cut it anymore. On the one hand, it's possible that Chevy may not be able to compete in this market, and they're going to push the car into a bracket that it can't compete and sales are going to suffer. On the other hand, though, if they do step up the game and if they do produce a car that's capable of competing with these higher end cars, are the people who already buy those kinds of cars going to consider a Corvette? Because I would think that the Corvette's not normally in that bracket and they're going to be a little apprehensive. But also, are you going to lose the core crowd that were buying the car? Because the Corvette already has a strong following. It already has people who love the car to death and who will continue to buy them as they come out. But if you price yourself outside of that bracket, if you take away the initial appeal, even if the car is amazingly better, are people still going to buy it? And that's sort of my concern. I'm sort of afraid that GM's trying to make this sudden switch to turn the Corvette into a completely different car, and I just think that's going to be really difficult. I don't know if the car is going to be able to compete. I don't know if the customers are going to care to follow the Corvette to this new branding. I almost think that Chevy might have done better to produce a different car to have. And I did hear that they're potentially going to be producing C7s and C8s beside each other, so you can still buy both for a few years, which might be Chevy's fallback plan just in case things don't go well. But I don't know. To me, it just seems a little bit risky, and I hate to see that big a risk being taken with a car that's basically an American icon. I hope it works out for them, but at the same time, I just don't know. It may not be the same crowd. It may be successful and may turn into a whole different thing, in which case I hate to lose what was already there. But anyway, I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. Do you think a mid-engine Corvette's going to be successful? Do you not think it's going to be successful? Is it something you'd think about buying or not think about buying, and why? So please let me know in the comments. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for this video, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Peace.